we'll see.
I wanted to switch gears a little bit because I have both of you here, and there's nothing quite like talking about Ivanka Trump, who sat down with Dr. Oz. It was Dr. Oz. I was trying to,
Yes, a member of the administration went on Dr. Oz, a syndicated television show.
But because, as usual, she was faced with the question of what exactly is it that she's doing in the White House as a senior advisor to the president. And her answer, we've heard a few times before, but she reinforced once more.
I think that my role, and anyone who works for the President of the United States, their role is to inform, advise, and then ultimately execute. So I'm not the decision maker.
So this is one of her, I guess, most, one of the questions that bothers her the most is this notion of whether or not she's been able to be a moderating force in the White House. The evidence is quite clear that she has not been. But
I guess we don't know. Maybe there was all sorts of really crazy, worse stuff.
Everyone's favorite, Jamie's favorite. Oh, what is it that Jared and Ivanka killed? How did they save the day this time? I like the ones where it's now become a parody, where it's like the Republican healthcare plan might kick off 23 million people off of their insurance, but it was going to kick off 30 had it not been for Jared and Ivanka.
We haven't heard from Jared in a while, by the way.
Yeah,
is he okay?
Oh.
Laying low.
He must be over in the Middle East trying to, solve the whole peace problem.
He's got a lot on his plate, that guy.
Expect an announcement any day.
Yeah, he was also supposed to overhaul the entire government as we know it, the whole.
Right, I forgot about that.
It's also that. But since the Russia investigation, he seemed to be laying low, especially that Trump Tower meeting he was a part of. But I just, look, Ivanka Trump, I think, riles people up in a way that is unique. But the question becomes, can you be a senior advisor, but then say that you actually aren't really playing a role in the administration?
No.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Is that a legitimate?
Well, let's I just want to kind of parse her statement here and what your interpretation would be of her legacy, if there is to be one, in this White House so far.
Yeah, I don't see much of a legacy, honestly. I think that what's interesting to me is to juxtapose this posture she has now, which is like, well, I'll tell him a few things and then he'll do what he wants to do. It's not on me. Compare that to the campaign where, she didn't, promise, I'm secretly going to be pulling all the strings here, but there was a sense that she tried to send that, I care about women, and I care about climate change, and I care about all these things, and, I have all this sway with my father, and I'm going to be this, force. And there was sort of almost this they communicated this thing of Jared and Ivanka are moderates, and they're really the ones that have the influence. And that's just clearly not the case. That influence was very overblown. And so I think that, the whole premise of her going in there and saying, my father's going to be such a great president. I have so much faith in him. And, he agrees with me on all these progressive or, moderate policies, at least. And then to have that turn out to just not be true, I think it looks especially bad for her because she communicated that she would have that power.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't.